Imagine a colossal structure weighing 40,000 tons. Built from solid limestone, it has withstood the wrath of tropical hurricanes. It has survived devastating earthquakes and the relentless march of millennia. This is El Castillo, the beating heart of the ancient city of Chichen Itza. But right now, as you admire this perfect triumph of Mayan geometry, beneath its foundation, a hidden catastrophe is silently unfolding. A disaster completely concealed from human eyes. Down there, 20 meters below the rocky Yucatan soil, there is no solid bedrock. There is only pulsating water. In the 21st century, classical archaeology hit a dead end. Shovels and brushes could no longer unlock the ultimate secrets of the Yucatan. They were replaced by the physics of extreme electromagnetic fields. Scientists scanned Chichen Itza using massive electrical impulses, and they froze in absolute terror. The greatest monument of antiquity is literally hanging by a thread. A massive karst lake has been discovered directly beneath it. A dark, subterranean ocean ready to swallow the pyramid whole. Was this a tragic miscalculation by ancient engineers? Or did the Maya intentionally build their grandest temple over the gates of hell, knowing that sooner or later it would inevitably collapse into the abyss? Today, we will dissect the raw geophysical data. We will break down the complex mathematics of underground scanning, and we will peer into the abyss that is patiently waiting for its moment. To grasp the true scale of this catastrophe, we must look at the Yucatan Peninsula itself. It is a gigantic, flat slab of porous limestone. Geologically speaking, it looks exactly like a colossal slice of Swiss cheese. There are virtually no surface rivers here. Every drop of rain immediately vanishes underground. The water slowly dissolves the soft rock, carving out massive voids. These collapsed sinkholes are known as cenotes. For the Maya, they were the only reliable source of fresh water. But simultaneously, they were Xibalba, the terrifying gateway to the underworld. For a long time, historians believed the Maya were master geologists. We assumed they chose the absolute strongest, most monolithic patches of land. In the 1930s, explorers led by Sylvanus Morley tried to test the grounds. They used primitive acoustic methods to probe the earth. They suspected hidden voids because the sound of the impacts felt strangely hollow. A deep, echoing boom reverberated from specific points of the foundation. However, the technology of the era was severely limited. They couldn't look deeper than 3 or 4 meters into the rock. The verdict of the 20th century engineers was overwhelmingly comforting. They declared, "The pyramid stands on an impenetrable limestone shield." That was a catastrophic, fundamental error. Archaeologists completely missed a critical engineering aspect of Maya culture. The ancient architects didn't just build temples, they constantly upgraded them. El Castillo is actually a massive stone nesting doll. Beneath the visible 11th century walls hides an older, 9th century pyramid. And deep within that, there may be yet another. With every new phase, the total load on the ground grew exponentially. The ancient builders kept piling on thousands of tons of mass. They had no idea, or perhaps they knew all too well, that the ceiling of a giant subterranean reservoir was slowly thinning out below them. Centuries of rain, heavily saturated with carbon dioxide, did their dark work. The water turned into a weak acid. Drop by drop, it relentlessly ate away at the limestone directly beneath the foundation. How do you see what is hidden beneath 40,000 tons of stone? Especially when you can't just squeeze a camera down there. In 2015, a team of researchers from the National Autonomous University of Mexico arrived. They brought a revolutionary method, 3D Electrical Resistivity Tomography, or ERT. The physics behind this process is both elegant and mind-bendingly complex. It is entirely based on measuring the electrical resistance of the ground. Different materials allow electricity to pass in drastically different ways. Dry limestone is a phenomenal insulator. Its resistance is colossal, measured in thousands of ohm meters. But water, especially the mineral-rich water in an underground lake, is an incredible conductor. Its resistance drops to near zero. The scientists drove 96 metal electrodes into the soil around the pyramid. They created a massive, closed electrical circuit. High-frequency alternating current was injected into the ground. while other electrodes precisely measured the resulting voltage drops. In total, they recorded over 8,500 individual measurements. But the real nightmare was the mathematics. They had to solve what geophysicists call the inverse problem. The computer only receives surface data, raw currents and voltages. To transform this into a 3D map, algorithms perform numerical inversion, solving brutal partial differential equations. The software shatters the underground space into millions of tiny cubes, and through sheer computational brute force, calculates the exact resistance of each one. The final result of this mathematical feat shocked the scientific world. When the algorithm finally finished crunching the numbers, an absolute abyss opened up on the geophysicists' monitors, directly under the central axis of El Castillo. At a depth of 20 to 25 meters, they found the anomaly. It showed an incredibly low resistivity, less than 10 ohms. The numbers left absolutely no room for debate. The sheer size of this subterranean cavity defies imagination. Its width spans nearly 30 meters, and it plunges into total darkness for at least another 20 meters, meaning there is a 15,000 cubic meter reservoir right under the temple, and it is filled to the brim with water. But the most terrifying discovery was the thickness of the vault. The natural limestone crust separating the heavy foundation from the deep water is only 4 to 5 meters thick. 5 meters of porous, weathered, heavily fractured limestone. That is the only thing stopping a 40,000-ton monolith from plunging into hell. The ceiling of this cenote is caught in a brutal war of physics. Constant hydrostatic pressure pushing from below, and the crushing gravitational weight of the pyramid destroying it from above. This discovery instantly resurrected the ancient myths. Yucatan chronicles speak of Kukulkan, the feathered serpent. They say he dwells in the subterranean waters and demands human sacrifices to hold back the wrath of the earth. We used to think this was purely poetic metaphor, but looking through the cold lens of modern geophysics, the myth acquires a chilling, rational logic. The ancient Maya might have known exactly what was beneath them. They knew the heart of the water element was beating down there. By constructing the pyramid perfectly centered over the cenote, they were building a colossal plug, a desperate attempt to seal the entrance to Xibalba. Their bloody rituals were not just blind worship. They were an engineering plea to appease the chaotic forces of nature, forces that were actively destroying the foundation of their entire civilization. Let us conduct a brutal, impartial engineering analysis. Why hasn't the pyramid collapsed yet? Because from the perspective of material science, this structure violates every known rule of safety. The secret lies in the brilliant distribution of weight. The Maya were undeniably genius builders. El Castillo has an incredibly wide, stepped base. Its footprint covers over 3,000 square meters. The load does not push straight down into the fragile center. It disperses outward to the periphery. The edges rest on much thicker, solid limestone. The center of the pyramid, directly over the thinnest part of the vault, is relatively lighter than its colossal outer walls. But this fragile stability is not eternal. The ultimate enemy of Chichen Itza today is climate change and the devastating impact of human interference. The peninsula is regularly battered by extreme tropical hurricanes. Megatons of water dump onto the porous rock in a matter of days. Due to global shifts, the underground water table has become highly unstable. The water level in the cenotes now cycles drastically, up to 3 meters a year. And here is the fatal mechanical flaw. When the water level drops, the limestone vault loses hydrostatic support. The water is no longer pushing up to hold the ceiling in place. In that exact moment, the effective stress inside the stone skyrockets. And when the water violently rises again, it washes away new portions of dissolved calcite, accelerating the destruction of the rock from the inside out. According to engineers, the catastrophe will not be a slow decline. It will be a sudden sinkhole collapse. During one extreme rainy season, the porosity of that 5-meter vault will reach 40%. At that exact threshold, the load-bearing capacity of the stone drops to zero. In a matter of seconds, the unthinkable will happen. The entire central core of El Castillo will cave inward, ripping the ancient staircases and stone serpents apart. The greatest monument of human history will be reduced to a pile of rubble at the bottom of a dark underground lake. The secret cenotes beneath the rocky soil of the Yucatan are a ticking time bomb. The Maya built their masterpiece on the exact boundary between two worlds, the world of the living and the dark realm of the dead. And today, the unforgiving laws of physics confirm that boundary is growing thinner with every passing year. Will we manage to save Chichen Itza? Or will the brutal forces of gravity and hydrodynamics take what is theirs, burying the ultimate secrets of the Maya in the dark, karst waters forever? The answer to that question is being written right now, deep beneath the earth.